Free agency hasn't even officially started yet, but it has been already crazy for the Vikings. So let's start off with the very first domino that fell, and that is the Vikings having to cut Kyle Rudolph. This was not surprising, but it is just weird to know and see that Rudolph will not be a Viking next year. He was such a mainstay for the Vikings over the last about 10 years. Not having Big 82 out there is going to be weird. And he was such a pillar in the community with all of his stuff he did for the kids, Walter Payton Man of the Year, all this good stuff. But on the football side of things, he's just not explosive anymore. We had Irv Smith on the roster, so moving to Irv Smith just makes sense. And even though you do know he's going to go to Rudolph is going to go to a pass first offense. He's going to get like 15 touchdowns, be like the best tight end next year. And the Vikings are going to look like they've gone crazy, can't coach, can't do anything. But what else is new? But moving on. Irv Smith is going to be very happy about this. He's finally going to be able to be tight end 1. Tyler Conklin will be a very capable tight end 2. The Vikings get more of this run after the catch new age tight end moving forward at a much cheaper deal. So it really makes sense football-wise, but obviously best of luck to Kyle Rudolph going in the future. So the next one to fall, it wasn't as big like in the thoughts of football fans, Vikings fans specifically, but Riley Reiff presenting the biggest cap relief that the Vikings had, and it really presented the Vikings with a huge dilemma. We had a subpar, poor to even bad offensive line, and Riley Reiff was our best offensive lineman. He was above average to good. I would even call him good, even close enough to a Pro Bowl level left tackle last year, the most important position on the offensive line. But the Vikings need money, so they had to cut him. And the biggest reason they were able to do this was they did draft a tackle high last year, and he did play a lot last year as a rookie, but he played at guard. Cleveland wasn't great last year. You could even say he wasn't even good or even bad, but playing a lot and usually not looking awful gives you enough confidence that if you slide him to his natural position, he will at least give you good enough starting left tackle or even right tackle if they slide O'Neal to left tackle time out there where we won't lose a whole lot and the cap savings will be good. So now the Vikings have this extra money in my free agency hope wish this is how the Vikings win free agency video. I thought we would just use Reiff's money to instead having 3 tackles playing and a 1 tackle playing guard, we just get a really good guard to play guard because that made a lot of sense. And the best guard at the time was Brandon Sheriff, but now Sheriff is tagged by the Washington football team, so he'll be still with Washington, so he will not be a Viking, which actually is okay. I would actually be okay with the Vikings spending about as much money that they would spend on one Brandon Sheriff as they would just grabbing 2 about average offensive guards. I think that'd be better for the full ability, stability, and whatever of the offensive line. So I think that'd be the best move going forward. Picking up 2 average-ish offensive guards, maybe draft 1 or even 2 in the draft, hope for the best, and move forward. But yeah, good best of luck to Riley going forward, and hope Cleveland can really pull it together and be a good left tackle moving forward for the Vikings. But next, a bit more surprising for me is the Vikings decided to cut Dan Bailey. Now I know going off of the second half of last year, you just knock your head on your forehead. Duh, he was horrible. He basically single-handedly lost us the Buccaneers game, the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers, because we had Dan Walsh Bailey, who wasn't quite making a single kick. But I thought the Vikings would at least keep him until training camp, cut him then, show us that we have a new kid out there that is better. But now we just really hope the Vikings have a plan. We do currently have a kicker on the roster that nobody knows anything about because there aren't exactly a thing for kicker highlights. But hopefully either this kid's good or the Vikings have a plan on signing somebody else, or there's a guy that we would hopefully not want to draft, Rick, but undrafted rookie would be great if we could get that guy to be the Vikings kicker for hopefully more than just a year and then be horrible. That'd be great. But to end the video on a good news note, the Vikings brought back Stephen Weatherly. Now, this is going to be a very underrated signing that I don't think a lot of fans are going to appreciate enough. You know, Weatherly is just kind of a rotational defensive end no one really cares about. But here's the thing. If we can assume Danielle Hunter's coming back and DJ Wanham's in year 2, with Stephen Weatherly, that gives us a pretty solid trio of defensive ends where you might be able to cross defensive end off the needs for the team. Now, obviously, you'd still want a little bit more, and there would come maybe a Wave 2 or Wave 3 veteran defensive end. Hello, Everson Griffin. And then I don't think there's really a need if we get one more guy. Now, if we don't get that guy, yeah, the draft is still where we'd want to go. Maybe we wouldn't need to go in the first round and get Quiddy Pay, but we would be pretty well set with what we have. So Stephen Weatherly is not good enough to be a starter, but as a rotational guy, especially if we can expect Wanham to have a pretty significant step forward, especially with Danielle Hunter, forcing opposing offenses to scheme around him, whether it's double teaming him with straightforward offensive linemen, chipping him with a tight end, or having a running back his way, he's going to make the life of whoever is the other defensive end much easier. So if we have to do a rotation, we can. A third set of eyes out there like Everson Griffin would be fantastic. But give me your thoughts on what happened so far in the preliminary period of free agency. And we'll see you guys in the next Josie Vikings video. See you guys then.